So what are the top accommodations or modifications that are essential for your child's success in that classroom?
For our kids specifically, a lot of visuals, because they are visual learners. So we definitely had to put it into our accommodations and modifications that we needed visuals. We have a behavior intervention plan. So with the behavior intervention plan, we have different strategies, like the first DEN, strategy, choices, extended time, breaking down the material, also shorter, like you said, Karen, maybe 3 sentences, they are writing a whole paragraph, those kind of accommodations, and obviously the aid that we already requested from the beginning.
Visuals has always been there. And also, having access to different kinds of like audio books, but also modified texts, right? He can read and but it's not fast enough for him to keep up with the class, right? So we all very often, when he's doing a book with the class, he will have like 3 other kinds of books. He'll watch the movie, he'll listen to the original text, and he'll also have a modified text that we've got. And then clicker, that's been really important. He's still not writing expressively. So for a long time we had a scribe as the accommodation, but that hasn't been that good because it doesn't encourage him to write or to formulate how to express. So we've been really trying to work with Clicker, which is a program that helps you write.
Is that assistive technology? Is that
yes,
part of
it is.
Okay,
yes. And I would recommend anyone to have an AT evaluation just to see what there's out there that can help, like text to speak programs. Speech to text doesn't work quite so well with our kids because the computer doesn't understand them, right? Having it read aloud is really good, and just involving them in the technology. I wish we'd done more than that because suddenly we needed the technology like anything, right? I used to make a lot of like books for the words to pre-teach him the words. And I used to, in elementary school, I'd always be begging the teacher, can I get the words for science and the words for social studies like 2 weeks before? And then I would make him my own like books, just a picture and the word, just to get him familiar with the language, because vocabulary is a big thing for children with Down syndrome, not having a wide enough vocabulary because they learn to talk late. Those things, I think, just having like a sense of like he needs extra support to access the material. And then he also needs a different way to show what he knows, because he can't write an essay. Finally, we've got him to a point where he's fairly good at doing bubbles on a quiz, right? But even that,
Magnus, I'm not good at that.
We have mastered the bubbles on the quiz now.
So much of what you just said is so important. Karen and Sherry said something in the chat that aligned exactly with what you just said, which is one thing to keep in mind when kids are doing projects is what's the goal of the assignment? And if it's not writing, allow them to dictate. And I tell you, and I probably said this before a million times, like, Lena was always required to write her name at the type of, and she can. It's frustrating. It's hard. And guess what? It was like, she doesn't want to do her math assignments. And then, we had to try to boil down to like what was going on. It's like, oh, she hates math, which she doesn't love math. But besides that, it's because it was starting and it's like, and then you have to write the numbers and she couldn't concentrate on the math because she was having to write it. So it's really also digging in and figuring out what accommodations are appropriate. And sometimes, you give some somewhere and you realize the problem is something else. Again, listening to that child, and then like one of our hats and, your whole team, it's kind of a mystery, like, really figuring out what it is.
Exactly what Sherry said, right? What's the goal of the project, right? Because if you're trying to teach her how to write her name, you need her to write her name. If you just want her name on the sheet, give her a stamp with her name on and she can stamp it on everything, right?